already seen her in everything from Kick-Ass to The Equalizer, so much in between. Just to name a few, and now actress Chloë Grace Moretz is starring in the new sci-fi thriller The Fifth Wave, which follows a normal high school girl trying to survive deadly attacks that have left most of the Earth decimated. Take a look.
40. Yep. You mean the cards count? Oh, 10 seconds.
No,
I go that 5.
And Chloë Grace Moretz is here with me now. Chloë, this movie is like worst case scenario ever, right? I mean,
Yes.
we're talking like earthquakes, floods, viruses, alien attacks. What was it like shooting this thing?
You know, it was hard. You know, we were filming in the wilderness every day, and it was nice because we actually started in the summer, so it was really like great, and I was warm the whole time, and then all of a sudden, you know, it became winter, and we were like trying to like film without the snow around me and make it seem like it was the same time period. So it definitely felt like I was going through my own series of 5 waves while we were filming.
That's like a really good point. So obviously we know you from Kick-Ass as well as many movies, but you often play a badass in film. I wonder if that's a conscious choice. You saying, look, women can be just as strong and kick-ass as men in cinema, as well as in real life, or is it just you like to run around, punch people, kick-ass all the time? Like, I don't know.
That's definitely part of it. I mean, I think for me, you know, just naturally from a really young age, I gravitated towards roles that, yeah, they were more strong compared to some other young female characters, especially at the age of 10, 11, 12, 13. And now as an adult, I definitely think it's much more of a cognizant choice to make my decision to make roles and portray characters that I want young women to be able to look up to. And I don't want to be, you know, setting an image and kind of, you know, putting myself on a pedestal of something that I don't respect, because then I wouldn't be doing myself justice.
And your co-star in this movie, Alex Rose, said that you had to tone down your badassness on set to play a normal, everyday teenage role. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty funny because I was having to constantly be reminded by my director that, you know, you don't know how to handle a weapon. You've never shot a gun before. You don't know what you're doing. You know, stop acting like you're very much so in control of yourself. So it's kind of the opposite of what I usually do on films, which is gain more knowledge about my physicality and stuff. I was actually having to forget everything that I know.
Yeah, that must be difficult. And throughout the movie, Cassie is, after, you know, the last normal day of her life, Cassie is doing everything she can to help save her little brother.
Yeah.
How difficult does that become for her throughout the movie as it progresses?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what really drew me to the project in general, is the fact that, you know, at the base of its core, you know, yes, it's a sci-fi movie, yes, it involves 5, you know, waves of an alien attack, but at the base of its core, this young girl has everything in her life, you know, humanity stripped away from her. Her, you know, her mother and father are taken away from her, and then it's just her and her brother, and then eventually her brother is taken away from her. And the whole story accumulates around this young woman fighting for humanity by trying to save her brother's childhood, in a sense, and piece back together their family one by one.
I wonder if this related to you, the storyline, on a personal level. I loved reading your interview in Glamour magazine in 2013 about your brothers and how you said that they were treated horrifically for being gay when they were young. And even though you were younger than they were at the time, you're the youngest in the family of 4 brothers, did you feel protective in a way that you had to save them, in a sense?
Yeah, I mean,
around them?
definitely in the beginning, it was almost a confusion on my part as to why anyone even cared. That was kind of my big thing as a kid. I was like, well, why do they even care who they find is cute or who they want to kiss? Like, that's the way I kind of looked at it. I was like, well, I mean, would it matter if I want to kiss a girl compared to if I want to kiss a boy? I mean, it doesn't matter. My mom doesn't care, so why do these parents care? Why do those kids care? Why do they make fun of them for it? And so eventually, the way my family has always been is no matter what it is, whether you're gay, whether it's just because you don't like a sport, whatever it is, we stick up for one another. So I immediately started filling that role from a really young age because I was on a platform to where people would listen to me and they would hear what I was saying. So I could defend them on an even larger scale by promoting it in magazines and interviews and speaking about it on social media and just trying to promote equality. You know what I mean? For all the causes that I kind of have become inclined to promote.
When I told my sisters that I was gay, not that they weren't before, but I felt in the years after, and I was crying about this in the speech at my sister's wedding last month, but that I felt that they became even more compassionate, even more protective, and even more motherly toward me and toward other people. So I'm wondering how it might have changed you to be exposed to LGBT people from 100%. A young age, because oftentimes it's all about ignorance, right?
Exactly.
So do you feel that it changed you as a young girl and now a young woman?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was 11 years old, so effectively all of my, most of my real childhood and adulthood coming into who I am had been, then from there on out, it had been with two gay brothers. And so I grew up in a world where I was automatically, pro-equality on all fronts, but especially with the LGBTQ plus community. That was something that I had always felt so fervently about, because I also had another one of my close friends, he came out as gay when he was probably 17. And, he came out to my friend and I, and it's, we had always felt this protection over them, just to try to kind of promote what it meant to just be able to love who you want to love, because I feel like we put so many labels on so many things in our society, and my big issue is not just the fact that people are against LGBT, it's the fact that we even have to come out and say who we're interested in. There should never even be a question as to why they're asking us that. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's not an issue. Why are we even living in a society where we have to answer those questions? That's a question that shouldn't be asked.
Hallelujah.
You know what I mean? It's no, I don't ask the straight guy why he's into a girl. Why are they asking a gay guy why he's into a guy? It doesn't make any sense to me.
You don't have to come out as straight. I think that's the thing that's so frustrating for us. It's why do we have to have these awkward conversations? I know.
From the time you guys were kids, you were interested in that, and why does it matter?
Exactly.
It's frustrating for me to see it.
But something that matters to you, as we've seen throughout the years and in so many of your films, is doing the stunts. And a lot of actors can decline and they can have somebody do it for them, but since you were 7? You've been doing them on your own. Why is that important for you? I mean, it's more exhausting, it takes more time to do it. So why is that important for you?
I think it's just the reality of it is what I find more interesting. I mean, I find it more interesting when I watch movies like Wanted or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you see Brad Pitt and Angelina, and you see, Angelina doing her own stunts, and it's cooler to see one big wide shot where it's the same face doing the entire stunt the entire time, instead of these shaky fast cuts, and it's obviously different wigs compared to the real hair, and it's, it just is cooler, and it's much more badass when you see someone do their own stunts. And that was just kind of the way I looked at it at a young age. And then eventually it became also kind of, I'm very, not just competitive, I'm just very I like to do everything myself. And it makes me angry to think I can do that, but I'm not doing it, and I'm just holding myself back from doing it, and it just doesn't make any sense in my head.
And in the movie, the others, which are the aliens, I guess, for lack of a better word, can inhabit human bodies, human hosts. And it makes it difficult because obviously, your character can't tell who is what.
Who's the enemy.
Exactly, who's the enemy. Now this might be a leap, okay? You tell me. But I wonder if, in a way, it's a metaphor for today's world, where we see these situations one after another, and it's, your neighbor could be a terrorist and could commit a mass shooting, tomorrow. So, do you think there's any connection there? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I think, in some ways there are. I think there's a lot of connections in this movie to the society we're living in right now. I mean, a big thing that I found really interesting when I was even reading the book is that, yes, the world has been demolished by these series of alien attacks, but they're naturally occurring attacks. And what you start to see is the more that Cassie lives in these woods, the greener the leaves are, the brighter the sun is. You know, everything's more vibrant, everything's more alive. There's more animals running around. It feels in a very strange way that the world is actually thriving post these attacks.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, it kind of talks about, you know, what we do to affect the world and how actually once they took us out of it, the world was doing a little bit better than it was with us in it. So it's kind of that same way with the human host, is the fact that yes, you don't know anymore, especially because of social media, especially because of these kind of covert second, third, fourth lives that people are living, unbeknownst to their family members, unbeknownst to their wives and husbands. You know, they're living these separate lives, and it kind of reiterates that in our movie when you watch it. It hits home.
If this were to happen in real life, in the sense that you actually watch it in the film, and you couldn't do anything to fight it off, and I know you would want to, but if you couldn't do anything, how would you spend your last day?
You know, I would honestly, it sounds so cliche, but my family really is my life. Like, they are 100% my life, and my brothers, and my baby dog, and my mom, like, that is my world, and that's my life. And the way I would like to spend it is just in our living room, just, like, hanging out and talking. And, like, if we all went, that's what we always say, is if we all went out together, we'd be okay. We just wouldn't want to go out separately, because that would be devastating.
In your living room. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
just
fantastic.
not doing anything special. Yeah.
Well, look, some of your fans who are very excited for the fifth wave also are joining us right now with questions for you.
Cool.
So let's start with Lauren. Hey, Lauren, you're on with Chloe.
Hi, I think I'm on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chloe, I was wondering if you have any funny stories from when you were filming The Fifth Wave.
Yeah, actually, in the stunt, I don't know if you were watching earlier, but they showed the little clip, and in that clip, I trip over that tripwire, and I get caught by Evan, Alex Rowe, that's his character, and in actuality, we were filming this scene, and he's a very fast runner, he's incredibly athletic, he's like your macho man, like he just is, and he is very self-controlled. And if you watch this, he came to leap after me, and the tripwire stays up. So in one take, he hit that tripwire and flew probably 7 feet in the air.
What? And
landed on top of me. And I was like, this man who's like so self-controlled and was like so like I played soccer my whole life, just fell flat on his face, and he was like covered in dirt. So that was a really funny moment, just because he's just is so you know what I mean, aware.
It's probably a good moment for you too.
I was dying. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, you need to calm down. We get it. You can run fast, girl. Like, sit down, baby. You got my muscle Mary over here. It's okay, baby girl.
Well, since the movie is all about an alien invasion, we want to have some fun with you too. We wanted to know what you actually believe in. So, do you believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens? Yeah. You know, I think that I'd be silly not to keep my mind open to the fact that there could be other things out there. I'm going to keep my mind open to the fact that there are other things on our, you know, planet that we're just finding out about every day.
Yeah, let alone,
you know, the universe and, you know, the galaxy and outer space. I mean, I think that, you know, we are a tiny, itty bitty speck. So I just, you know, keep my mind open to it all. Hopefully, if they do come to contact us, they're nice.
Right.
That's
You've made a lot of your little speck so far in just 18 years, my goodness.
Yeah.
Do you also believe in ghosts?
You know, I believe in spirits. Yeah, I believe in spirits, and I think that some spirits can be trapped and not be able to pass to wherever they're trying to go to, especially if they, you know, die in a very traumatic way. Because I've experienced just some rooms where you'll walk in and you'll feel something's off, you know what I mean? And you know, it might not even be like, oh, you're getting picked up and slammed on the ground, and you know, it might not be that crazy, but I definitely think that there are some people who might get trapped. And also, you know, I've had loved ones, and you feel them, or you smell their scent, and you know that they're around. So, yeah.
The number 13.
The number, you know, number 13 is actually a very lucky number in the Moretz family.
Really?
Strangely enough, every time 13 is around, we actually have a lot of luck from it. I don't know why.
There you go. Well, it has its own power in the opposite direction.
It is for us.
Here we go. Do you believe in love at first sight?
I believe in I believe that there can be an energy between two people that is unexplainable. And in that first kiss, I feel like there's definitely something that can be unexplained where you feel something that is different than other people that you've met or been with or whatever whatever it is. So I believe that people might say it's lust at first sight, but I think there can definitely be a connection that is unexplainable. It might not mean that you're in love with each other, but it means that you just might have like a soul connection with someone.
Yeah, when it happens, it's like so exciting.
It's charged, yeah.
True love.
I think that there can be more than one true love in your life. I think that, yes, you can have these amazing moments. I think that you're meant to meet these people in your life and come together and fall in love or whatever it is, even if it's a friendship. Because there's true love in friendships and in partnerships, whatever it is. But I think that there's multiples. And, it sounds cliche to say like there's more fish in the sea, but I think you're supposed to love more than one person in your life.
There's so many fish in the sea.
There's so many fish in the sea.
Let's be real here.
Some really cute fish.
Okay, final question. In your world, is there an afterlife? In any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I look at it is I don't hate on any religion. After I got out of high school, one of my main things I want to go do is I wanted to read up on every religion that surrounds me. I read up on Buddhism, I read up on Islam, I read up on Christianity, on Judaism. I tried to kind of really educate myself on what I'm surrounded by. That way I don't judge one compared to the other, especially with news outlets and terrorism and things that's happening in the world. I didn't want to be swayed in one direction or the other. To hate a certain group of people, because it's happened before in the past, generationally, and people can't explain it. So for me, I think that there is a divinity for you to go to if you're in your religion that you're in, that you truly believe in, whatever it is, even if it's just a spiritual, earth-based religion, whatever you want to say it is. I think if you are a morally sane and based person, you will reach some sort of divinity, whatever the divinity it is in your life.
Yeah, there's so many common threads,
There's a lot of common threads.
Okay, so we have some more fans who obviously want to talk to you.
Okay.
Elise has a question coming up now. Hey, Elise.
All right, hi guys. My first question was, Chloe, who do you look up to as a role model?
A few people. In my personal life, I really look up to my mom. Obviously, I think she's someone that is very admirable. She battled kidney cancer. She's a 10-year survivor. She has lost a child. She's been a single mom. She has gone through so much in her life that I can't not look at her and be proud and kind of take her advice. Even though we fight all the time and I don't take her advice sometimes, I still admire her incredibly. And then in my business, I'd say that Julianne Moore is my biggest inspiration and kind of guidance. She mentors me and has been mentoring me since we did Carrie together. So she's kind of my biggest influence, personally too, but a lot, in terms of business, she's the one.
All right. Well, we also have a video question coming up. Let's check that out.
Hi Chloe, my name is Nadine, and I was wondering, out of all the roles you have acted, which one is your favorite to play?
Which one's my favorite to play? It's hard because I've done so many different roles at different time periods in my life. So every single role I've done has a very different kind of meaning for me in terms of growing up. So I'd say in terms of right now at 18, what has influenced me the most, at least within the year, within last year, I guess now, technically it's last year. Last year I did this movie called Brain on Fire, which is this amazing story based on this novel by Susanna K. Halen. And it's a true story based on her real life of this girl who gets viral encephalitis and is hospitalized and then, eventually almost institutionalized until they realize that it's viral encephalitis and she's actually brought out of it. And it's just this really wild story that really took me to a place that I've never been able to go to as an adult actor. And it was just something that I commend because it changed me a lot. And it gave me a lot of responsibility. And as a younger actor, I'd say I did this movie called Let Me In, which was very difficult. And I had to be within the mind of this, 100-and-something-year-old vampire who's essentially this older, kind of stuck soul in this young child's body. And it was just very interesting at 12 years old to play that character and have to kind of deal with that juxtaposition of being a 12-year-old and not knowing very much, but having this wise, older self inside of me, trying to portray that with also the sci-fi elements of the vampiric lore.
Mm-hmm. You are such an old soul. You really are. I mean, taking on these projects at such a young age and doing them so well and understanding, who you're playing, that's very special. You talked about Carrie a couple moments ago, and you are starring again with Ansel Elgort in an upcoming movie called November Criminals.
Yeah.
You're both of love interests again. So what is that like now, a few years later? You guys are a little bit older.
Yeah.
He's now this heartthrob.
Gosh.
Yeah, so tell me about that. What was it like for you two?
I feel like he'll forever feel like my little brother or something. Like, I don't know why. I just feel like because I had cast him in Carrie, and it was his first movie ever, and he'd never been on set before, he'd never been in front of a camera, that now when I look at him, I'm like, shut up, Ansel. Like, you can stop it. I know you too well. I can't deal with you. And he's a heartthrob now, and I'm like, you stop it. Well, okay. I knew you before all this.
Yeah, exactly. So
get out of here.
Say, because do you find that he kind of relishes in it a little bit? I mean, he is the guy. Our producers were like twice his age.
God. It's so funny because I just don't get it because I don't see him romantically at all anymore. Like, I just don't see it. He just is my brother.
Did you back then?
Yeah, when I first met him, I was like, oh, that's cute. He's all tall, and he like sings and stuff. But then now I'm like, no, ew, get out of here. We're like having to kiss. I'm like, this is so weird.
What is a kiss with him like?
You are so into it. I see you. I see you.
You led me there. You led me there.
What is a kiss with him like? He has very large lips. So
which
it's
means a good kiss, right?
Yeah, he's a good kiss, yes. But it's just weird. I can't even, it's like asking what it would be like to kiss your brother. I'm like, no.
I totally get it.
Sick.
But also, Neighbors 2 with Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What was it like working on this project?
Great. It was really wild. It's definitely one of the most raunchy, raucous comedies ever that I've ever done. Obviously, I mean, the only other comedies I've really done are 30 Rock and things like that. But this is definitely something where I was able to be a true lead character. I mean, I'm the lead female of this story, opposite Seth Rogen and Zac Efron, and two right now, some of our comedy geniuses in this movie of our time period, generationally. So it was definitely a big test for me to kind of see if I can jump into this comedic world and thrive, and I did. I really was able to take on this world that I had never done before, and kind of kill it in a way. I was able to really kind of try something different that I hadn't tried before and actually do well in it, which was weird for my mind to kind of deal with because I'm so used to doing drama. But it was fun.
Chloe, it was such a pleasure to talk to you today. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch this movie. And thanks to everybody who joined us from the HuffPost Live community and everyone who's watching this segment right now. And don't forget, the Fifth Wave hits theaters Friday, January 15th. So click on the links below this video screen for more information. And if you like what you just heard, listen to it anywhere. HuffPost Live interviews and conversations are now available on iTunes and SoundCloud. Stay with us, there's plenty more coming up.